Okay, so we spent a couple lectures talking about cardiovascular adaptations to aerobic training. Now we're going to talk about respiratory adaptations. So similar outcomes as previously, as the previous two lectures, but makes sense. So pulmonary ventilation, remember this is getting air in and out of the lungs. And one of the things that does not happen to the lungs is we don't change or improve the structure. Lungs don't really adapt. They don't really heal well. They don't get bigger, things like that. So there's no real change to the structure of your lungs that occurs with training. But what happens is we become more efficient breathers. All right. Ventilation will decrease by up to 30% during submaximal exercise, and this occurs in a similar manner to cardiac output. Now, cardiac output stays the same, but ventilation actually decreases. And this is because we're taking bigger breaths. So our tidal volume is increasing, just like stroke volume increases, and our respiratory rate goes down, just like heart rate goes down. But what's happening is we're actually increasing our alveolar ventilation because more air is getting to the alveoli with each breath with those bigger breaths. Ultimately, we're taking more oxygen out of the air with each breath. So this is beneficial. One, it's just efficient. Each breath we're getting more. And this reduces the amount of ATP that's needed for your lungs to actually function. Your diaphragm's not contracting as often. And so that blood can be redistributed to other places. All right. So when it comes to max exercise, your pulmonary ventilation does increase. And this is as a result of both respiratory rate increasing and tidal volume, similar to the cardiovascular adaptations. There's also some changes with diffusion, but not at rest or submaximal exercise, okay? And this isn't that surprising because it requires a specific amount of oxygen. We're delivering the same amount of oxygen, so there's no real need or desire or drive to improve diffusion. But diffusion capacity increases during maximal exercise. And remember, we're talking about pulmonary diffusion, so getting blood or getting oxygen into the bloodstream, okay? And so this happens due to increased pulmonary blood flow. So we've got higher cardiac output, but this allows us to recruit more capillaries. If we have more capillaries, we have more surface area, more gas exchange, more oxygen. Okay. And by increasing our ventilation, both tidal volume and frequency, we're recruiting more alveoli, which means we're able to get more oxygen into the body. And then finally, we've got the change or the AVO2 difference. Okay, so before you train, for every liter of blood that goes to the muscle, you extract about 50 mils at rest and about 150 mils at maximum exercise. However, after training, that 50 mils at rest stays the same, but now it might be 200 mils of oxygen during maximal exercise. That's a 33% increase. And so if I can deliver more oxygen, or if I can extract more oxygen, I can work longer or harder or go farther or at higher intensity. Okay, so just to kind of recap, very little effect on AVO2 difference during submaximal exercise, but it's going to increase maximal AVO2 difference. And so you combine this with the fact that your muscles are going to have more capillaries, and we're really able to deliver more oxygen, utilize more oxygen in our muscle cells. And so that's going to allow us to have a higher VO2 max. So 3 respiratory changes that occur and the benefits of these changes.